Blessable Heidrun. Words that strike terror into any 8th Raids player. Let's get into this, because this has a lot of best-in-class units, and I want you all to take a deep breath. We have a lot of craziness going on, and we're going to sort through this. We're going to start with something really interesting, which is one of the best 4-star specials I've ever seen. Tana is like Emmerin, but again, 4-star special. And she has SD Rain Snap. That's really good. And a preference B skill. This very much reminds me of Claude. If you remember, Summer Claude was insane and absolutely fantastic score bot. This unit is going to be in a similar vein, to be honest. We have to check her score, obviously, but I am really, really happy with this unit. Snaking Sword has Slaying. Allies within 2 spaces of a unit can move to any space within 2 spaces of a unit. So we have built-in warping, so built-in guidance 4. And that's Omni guidance, by the way. If unit has entered combat, then any unit can move within 2 spaces of this unit, which is crazy. This is the Emmerin effect that is so good. And the reason they feel comfortable about giving out this warping is because they keep, trying to nerf warping. But still, this is something that is very, very powerful even to this day. Warping, even though there is counterplay to it, is still one of the most powerful effects in the game right now. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants bonus to units. Attack speed defense res equals number of allies within 3 rows with 3 columns centered on unit. Basically, it's a conditional max 14. Deals damage equals 20% of unit speed, which is very nice, and reduces damage from foe's first attack by 20% of unit speed during combat. That is flat DR, by the way, and that is off of brave attacks as well. You have Draconic Aura, you have Heavenly Wings, which has Canto, distance +1, max of 4, and then at start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, inflicts penalty to foes, attack speed defense equals 5 plus number of spaces from start of position to end of position of whoever initiated combat times 3. So very much, we've seen the clash effect a lot. That's just this. We get full no follow-up, which is absolutely fantastic, and grants special cooldown charge +1 unit per attack, and grants special cooldown count -1 to unit before unit's first attack during combat. So honestly, there are a couple of things you can do with this unit. The first one that comes to mind is a Gale Force unit, and I think she'll be very good at that. You're going to need to pair her with someone like Layla or someone else like Embla who gets undefended, so this unit can safely initiate. That's a big deal. But that's not impossible by any stretch of the imagination, and works very well into a lot of the things going on in the meta right now. Once that happens, all of your other units can swarm in, and that's absolutely fantastic. So this is a fantastic 4-star special. I know I keep saying that, but I'm really impressed with this. This is a good deal. If you wanted to make this a merge project, I think this would be a fun one, and Tana fans, I think this is just excellent. Let's look at where I rank her, and I urge caution here. So as a support hero, I have her ranked in tier 3, but again, I keep saying for support heroes, it's like on a different scale than everyone else. Look at those units. Vale is still very usable, and I love my Ice Tribe Felicia. She's absolutely fantastic. Tana is going to be in that same range. She's not going to be quite as good as some of the craziness that Bernie gives, or Lumera is just fantastic right now. Honestly, should probably be a little bit higher there, but I mean, all of these units are good. Gatekeeper, tier 4. Gatekeeper is really good, as well as Tina. These are all very usable units, and Tana is in there. But there are other things she does, like allowing warping is fantastic, but Gale Force is really good, and being a score bot in Arena is also very good. So I've got her ranked here, but I want you to know, as a unit, she is higher than that. So just keep that in mind. And as a free unit for the cost, that is very good. So Hraesvelgr is already kind of a slept on unit, because this unit is pretty fantastic all in her own right. This is a blessable green beast flyer version, and I am just loving this. The amount of true damage this unit gets is absolutely spectacular. If we look at New Year Talon, we've got Slaying at start of player phase where enemy phase inflicts speed defense -7, exposure, and sabotage on foe that are within 2 spaces of another foe through the next actions. That's lots of debuffs, that's great. If unit is transformed, and if you look further in her kit, she's going to be transformed most of the time. At start of combat, grants bonus to units, attack speed defense res equals 15% of unit speed at start of combat +5. Unit deals plus X damage, X equals number of bonus effects, excluding stat bonuses, and number of penalty effects, excluding stat penalties, active on foe and foes within 2 spaces of that foe ×3. That's a big way of saying the more effects that are on a unit, the more damage this is going to do. And we've already seen, this is something when her mythic version came out, I was one of the folks saying that this was probably going to be an issue because of all the things that take away effects. And the thing is, what that turns out to be is if your defense is made for that, then it's going to be just fine. Same with your offense. There are so many things you have to counter that right now. Even look at Nidhoggr with countering Essence Drain. I mean, that's ridiculous. Let's move on though. We've got Nimble Beast, and we've seen Nimble Beast before. I love these new beast skills. They're absolutely fantastic. Let's keep going. And we have Attack Speed Fortune, which was on her original form. Bestial Assault, which I love. Okay, this enables Canto remaining +1, minimum of 2 while transformed. If unit is transformed or unit's HP is greater than 25% at start of combat, inflicts speed defense -4 on foe, deals damage equals 20% of the greater of unit speed or defense. So we already get more damage, and that's excluding AoEs, and reduces the percentage of foes non-special, so it's piercing. So, I mean, this is a lot of the stuff that you want on this unit, and that is a fantastic B skill for her. Divine Talon is the same and is great there, and it's great here. And let's go to the tier list. I want to talk about that because I think this is important. So, the thing with Hraesvelgr, she is one of the elite damage dealing units out there. And I'm having trouble with the way we do the nuke tier list, and I'm going to have to relook at this. What this originally was this was supposed to be based purely on damaging potential. And we have such role compression in the meta right now that it doesn't really make sense to do it that way anymore. So this has started to take other things into account. For instance, Felix, if he just gets 1 hit, isn't great. I just to be completely honest, 1 hit is not what makes Felix great. What makes Felix great is the follow-up hit. That's fantastic because, I mean, you're getting potential 4 hits there, and most of the time he's going to get those. It's same with Sigurd. What's great with Sigurd is the survivability with the fact that he's just going to keep on hitting you over and over and over, and then run away. It's really fantastic. And then we've got Hraesvelgr. Honest to God. Now, Hraesvelgr, and we talked about this a little bit, there is a floor. Like, there is a counter to her, and that's not having bonuses. It's just, that's not something we normally do because bonuses are such a key way with how we function right now. If you're looking at pure damage output, Hraesvelgr outranks Sigurd and Felix. Flat out. I mean, top of class, this unit does a ton of damage. It's insane. But because of the other things they do, I have to put them higher. The AoE effect is so interesting on Sigurd because of how many units it hits, right? And so you're wearing the entire team down while most of the time you're surviving. So I mean that's fantastic. Felix is just a chaos demon, right? Further down the list here, I mean, I still have Sharena very high up, and I still think Alphonse hits pretty hard. The rest of this list, I really need to dig into this. The problem that I'm having is right now we have before Ike and after Ike. Ike was really where they decided to do a huge power spike, and so there's a lot of history of units where there's a divide there. Any units before that are just pretty much left behind, and so I need to redo a couple of these things, but these are still all very heavy hitting units. Edelgard and Lapis both hit very hard, and they're fantastic. You go down, and Lucina and Lincia, they're both good, but yeah, we're getting down to where we need to start doing some revamping on this. And I I promise you guys, I thought this was a day later. I've been in the process of revamping all of these tier lists, so I'll get this one cleaned up for you. But the thing I want you to take away is that Hræsvelgr is very good and ranks tier 0, and depending on what you want, if you want a unit that hits multiple times or can gale force, these other two are better. If you just need pure damage dealing, Hræsvelgr is better than these other two. Do you remember the day when we thought Nidhoggr was going to be the worst thing on this banner? But, innocent days. Okay, this is an armor that's a beast, which, I mean, we figured. But blue is different. I like red right now better, but let's talk about this monstrosity. New Year Fang. We have Slang. At the start of player or enemy phase, if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants defense res +6, Hexblade, and piercing 50% to unit and allies within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. If unit is transformed, and she will be most likely, deals damage to foe equals 25% of foe's max HP as combat begins. If unit is transformed or HP is greater than 25%, start of combat inflicts penalty on foe's attack defense equals 6 plus 20% of unit's defense at start of combat. Deals damage equals 30% of foe's max HP and reduces damage from foe's attack by X during combat. X equals, most likely it's going to be 20. Like that's, and also, when a foe's attack triggers foe's special, reduces damage from foe's attack by an additional X. That is a mouthful, and what that is a ton of daunts, flat damage reduction, and true damage. One of the crazy things they're doing in SD right now is putting the Celica ring on this unit instead of the Ike ring, which you'd normally do with a far save, but this unit hits so hard that they don't worry about it. This unit goes out and just absolutely obliterates things. That is how good this unit is. If we move on, you get the conditional, if unit transforms, you get to counterattack regardless of range. We have Sturdy Beast, which is a really good special. Then we have Divine Toxin, which is what keeps us transformed. And then at start of player phase, grants dosage, which is the essence drain fantasticness. And then if unit transformed or a foe initiates combat, grants attack defense res +10 to unit. Neutralizes foe's bonuses to attack defense, which is really good. Grants special cooldown charge +1 to unit per attack and neutralizes effects that inflict. So yeah, we have Null Guard. You've seen Divine Toxin. This is just a reboot of that, and this is very, very good. Slick Fighter is great. Slick Fighter and Wily Fighter, if you're looking for the difference, Wily negates buffs. Slick Fighter negates penalties. That's really what you're looking at right there, and it depends on what the unit has. This unit already has negates buffs, so you need Slick Fighter. Then we have Higher Ground. And this is probably the most ridiculous and heritable, and I need to know the restrictions on this, I really do. Higher Ground. Foes within range equals 1 cannot warp into spaces within 3 spaces of a unit, and foes within range of 2 cannot warp into spaces within 4 spaces of a unit. We have Barricade in a save skill. I mean, what do you do with that? That's crazy. It has the save skill thing, and then it gives you defense res +4 in combat. But I mean, Myr's thing just got erased, and this can't get cleansed. Like, this is built into the skill. I just, poor Myr. I mean, obviously, if you still have Myr, that she's still good, but this means everyone is Myr now. So this is what I was talking about with that whole, they're really trying to stop as much warping, or at least have a counter to it. I will say that it is advantageous to have that on a unit that's not a save. And the reason is your save is covering all of your units. So you're not protecting it. That's, even if you think about Aether Raid's defense or Summoner Duels, this is the unit that's going to get taken out first, right? And they have the anti-warp. So it's not 100% perfect, but that's still really good. That is absolutely fantastic, and I mean, rip Gale Force right now. They're trying to make that harder. They really are. This is only a dragon or beast thing, which is a big deal. But I mean, Nagi wants this real bad. Oh boy, what can you say? I mean, mostly this is tier list. It's a good tier list. Far Saviors. I've got this unit as the second best Far Savior, and I'm probably gonna get just beat down. I've seen Hector, and he's really doing some amazing things. There are definite cases where you want Nidhoggr instead, but I mean, on Aether's defense, on Aether's offense, if you don't have Divine Vein Stone, you're picking Hector because he can give that to you. If you have that support, if you have Lumera, then you're picking Nidhoggr. But Nidhoggr is without a doubt one of the top Far Saviors in the game. And yes, I put Mythic Nidhoggr up there. I've been bullied into it, and I've come to see the light. That unit is amazing. This is another one, though, like, Tier 1 is not that far off. The problem with Tier 0 is it has special things. Like, Tier 0 are good saviors and good supports. Fjorm and Nagi are good saviors. And we have a bit of a drop off there, and we have, you know, some other folks. But I really want to focus in on Tier 0 and Tier 1 right now. And Nidhoggr is truly amazing. There is an issue with her being blue, but I'll say it's slight. I mean, she is susceptible to Lyn. That's going to be an issue, but the way you're not susceptible to Lyn is by having Hardy Bearing. That's just it. And that is the thing you put on all Far Saviors right now, right? Also, I mean, pure Far Savior, you're probably going to want to go with Shield Fighter eventually, but I can say right now, Slick Fighter's doing just fine for her. It's the same with Hector. Until we get more powerful nukes, these are the units that you're going to want, and you keep the skills that they've got, and that is the case. Nidhoggr is incredible, though. Absolutely incredible unit. I like Hector a little more because I like his support more, which is crazy, but Divine Vein Stone is incredibly powerful right now. And now the moment we've all been terrified about, Blessable Heidrun. We have Sid coming in, doing AoE damage and knocking her all the way down, and we have New Year Treats. Slaying. If rally or movement assist skill is used by an ally with Divine Nectar, effect active, grants attack res +6 and charge to unit and that ally for 1 turn, and grants special cooldown count -1 to unit and that ally. Okay, that's already fantastic. And I mean, essentially, you're making all of these units into Crom, right? Valentine's Crom, like dual Crom. That's every unit now. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants bonus to units attack defense res equals 20% of units damage, and that includes AoEs, and that includes a ton of extra stuff, and you get piercing, and you get null guard. And the reason I'm going through this so quickly, this is a lot of damage. It's a lot of text that says damage. And the thing, if you remember, I said what a wonderful deal it is that our Heidrun does not do damage, because that would be terrifying. Enter this unit, who's an AoE nightmare with tons of res, and that res gets stacked on to Blazing Wind and Crystalline Water. Next up, we have Attack Res Discord. This is a new of the Discord ones, and it's fantastic. This is really good. There is a case to be made for Lagoo's Friend 4, and you lose out on some of the piercing, but I mean, you get full piercing when your special procs. But the survivability is really where it's at. Like that's a big deal. Nectar's Magic. This is an updated C skill for her. At start of player or enemy phase, if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants Divine Nectar to unit and allies within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. And Divine Nectar is already fantastic. If a rally or movement assist skill is used by an ally with Divine Vein Nectar, grants another action. We've seen this before. It's fantastic. And then we have 2 different types of reduction here. And basically this is, so if unit initiates combat and unit has area of effect special, then you get special cooldown -1 to unit before special triggers. This unit is going to trigger AoEs very, very easily. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack defense res +5 to unit during combat. And also, if unit's attack can trigger unit special, this is non-AoEs when those are equipped, grants special cooldown count -1 to unit before unit's first attack during combat. So, what does that mean? That means in Arena, where this unit is going to be around a lot, that you can use whatever skill you have there, and that's gonna be, it's gonna hit really hard. So, I mean, this is nuts, absolutely nuts. So, yeah, one of your beast skills maybe, or just, you know, Aether, I don't know, guys. This is absolutely crazy, and this unit is very, very good. And if we go to the tier list, the reason I've been sputtering is this is clearly the best support unit in the game. Okay, let's talk about this. I am in the same boat with this unit as I am with Lyn. And the argument goes, and the easiest way to say this is when we look back, we look at Heidrun and Celica, and that jump when those units hit. The jump from no Celica to Celica was huge. Absolutely enormous. The jump from having Celica in the game to having Celica and Lyn in the game is not as big. The power creep is there. The insane range that we're getting, all of that is already there. And so this is why you get two groups of people, some that say this is the most broken skill in the game, and others that say this is really not that big of a deal. Both of them are right, but for different reasons. Same thing with Heidrun here. We already have Heidrun in the game, and this Heidrun is without a doubt better than the other Heidrun. But the question is, does this Heidrun help you win matches or make you lose matches more? The answer is yes, but not as big of a jump as when original Heidrun comes in. So, from a unit standpoint, this unit is fantastic. From a power creep standpoint, the power creep's there. I mean, we've had this. We have had some insane units this year, and this is more of that. This Heidrun, the biggest thing I think she affects is Arena, and that's because for the whaley among us, I mean, this is going to be one of the best units in that mode, period. She's gonna score well. She turns everyone into duochrome. You have a self-refresher that you're making, which is crazy, and she also gives everyone super survivability. She's gonna be so annoying. So I want you all to be careful about over panicking. Also, in this time, it is even more important that you look at what you need on your teams, because every unit feels like a must pull. Heidrun is not a must pull, just flat out. Look, must pull is when a unit creates a tier all on their own. That is a must pull. Emblem Heroes are the closest thing to must pulls we have in the game right now. Heidrun is not that, and none of these units are. You probably have solutions like them. If they're your favorites, absolutely go out and get them. If there's a deficiency in your barracks, you need someone who hits hard, then Hraesvelgr can be there for you. If you need a cheap option for merging up in Arena, I think Tana is fantastic for that. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, other things. If you're looking for a Far Savior right now, and right now that is the thing that is absolutely killing you, is that your Far Savior just keeps dying. Nidhoggr is great in that role. But I mean, again, you keep looking at these units, there's possibility that you already have better in your barracks. If you have Fjorm, you can still make her work. Most of the time, what's keeping us from having things work is understanding mechanics in the game right now. Things like the wonderful world of Larothar. That unit is so pedantic, it's insane. That's generally what's keeping us from doing better, not having better units. And the exception is if your unit is before Emblem Ike, or if you got to refine after Emblem Ike, you're generally fine. But that was the point where we started really seeing a spike in power creep right there. But that spike happened, and those units after that, those are generally still pretty good. It's the units that are before that take a whole lot of work. And that's the way this game is right now. So, with that word of caution on overreacting, I'm gonna let the YouTube gods pick a video up here. If you want more content, go see that. Members, you are amazing. I've got some fun stuff coming in just should be a few days here. So, take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.